don't remember, it's in your notebook. We wrote it in there. What is estimation? What is estimation? I love that I am seeing Brogan look back, Colby look back in that notebook because they know. If they don't know, they can look in their notebook. Ava, what is estimation?
It's just you guessing the number, but you change some numbers.
Okay, so we have that it's a guess. That is definitely one part of it, but it's a little bit more than just a guess. Callie, you want to add on to what Ava was thinking?
It's not the exact number, but it's close.
Okay, so we've got a close to number. Anyone else want to add on to what Ava and Callie have said so far? We've got a guess, we've got a close to number. Emma, you want to add on? We know it's a friendly number. It's all of these things. When we estimate, we are looking for a guess. That is true. But the number that we are guessing is a friendly number or a close to number. Go ahead and write this down in your notebook, and I'll pause so you can get that done. We've learned a couple of strategies in order to estimate. What was one of the strategies we used when we were trying to find those friendly numbers? Paxton, you remember? Yes, we're looking back in our notebook because the knowledge is there. What was one of those strategies we used?
What's that do? That's just not benchmark numbers.
We use benchmark numbers. A benchmark number just meant that we were picking any friendly number that was close. There was no rules. We just made it whatever close friendly number we wanted to. Jordan, what was another strategy we had? Rounding. Rounding was the one that had lots of rules, right? We had two ways to round. Does anyone remember the two ways that we could round? Rounding had a lot of rules. Ava?
Maybe you could use like a number line.
So we definitely used the number line when we were rounding. But rounding to the nearest what? Your normal. Here, so it's right.
Maybe it's the nearest 10.
Yep, so we definitely rounded to the nearest 10. That was one way that we rounded. We also rounded to the nearest 100. Ava's right. Bowen, sit down. Please stop talking, friend. Ava's right. We use that number line to figure out which friendly number was closest. We learned one last estimating strategy. That was the estimating strategy that a lot of us actually discovered. That's what you did automatically. Julian, do you remember what it was called? Estimation. So all of these are estimation. We're looking for a specific strategy. Avery, do you remember it?
Front end estimation.
Yeah, what was front end estimation? Some of you really liked that one.
Not me.
I like that I'm hearing some pages look back and kind of remember, what was that? Front end estimation. What was that strategy about? Brooke, do you remember?
The little number up there. Putting the big number at the front, and then putting the little number at the end.
Not quite. I think I know what you're trying to say, but that's not quite what happened. Jordan, you remember?
It's when you take a number like 95, and then you take away the 5 and turn it into a 0, and that's a number.
Yeah, we just take the front end, the front number, and we keep it, and the rest of it turns to zeros. Yep. So 95 is a great example that Jordan just gave us, but you can really see it in big numbers. Like, let's say I had this number. Well, if I was using front end estimation, I would still just keep that front end and make the rest zeros.
I like rounding.
Connor?
The closest number.
All right, so we're going to be looking at these 3 strategies today.
That looks yummy.
No, I'm kidding. I break that to me. We are going to look at this problem. No, you're not writing that problem down. It reads, Harry and Sally are trying to figure out a rounding problem. So think about our number line. The problem's asking to round 48 to the nearest 10 and the nearest 100. Sally thinks the nearest 10 is 50 and the nearest 100 is 0. Harry thinks the nearest 10 is 50 and the nearest 100 is 100. Who do you agree with and why? That's a really big problem. I'm going to write down some of the things that it told me so I can remember. The first thing it told me is what it was saying. 48 to the nearest 10 and the nearest 100. In my notebook, I'm going to write 48. And I'm going to draw 2 number lines. Why do you think I'm drawing 2 number lines? Raise your hand if you think you have an idea. Sally, why would I draw 2 number lines?
One for the nearest 10.
Sally's right.
1 for the nearest 10. So over here out to the side, I'm going to put a little 10.
Actually
And then my other one, I'm going to put a little 100. Alright, which one do we want to do first? We want to do our nearest 10 or our nearest 100? Julian, what you thinking?
I'll need to the nearest 10.
Okay, the nearest 10. What 2 10s are going to be around 48? These are going to be skip counts of 10s. What 2 10s are going to be around 48? Paxton?
40 and 50.
40 and 50. I know Paxton's correct because this is a distance of 10.
I
thought
it was 30.
What might I be? Well, so Brogan said I thought it might be 30 through 40. If it's 30 through 40, where's 48 going to go? What is? 48. Oh, there you go. Way to stick with it. What's going to be our midway point? Bowen?
45.
45. Now that we have all of this information, where would 48 go? Archer, where's 48 going to go?
So not too close to 50, but close to it.
Yeah, why not too close to 50?
Because it's just 90. I mean, 50. 49 would go next to 48. So,
We have to leave space for that other number, right?
yeah.
Which endpoint is 48 closest to? Colby, which endpoint is 48 closer to? 50. It's way closer to 50.
Is that part of the mission?
What was the question? Okay. The question says, who do we agree with? We need to figure out what they said. Sally thinks the nearest 10 is 50. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is right. We just figured it out. Okay, what did Harry say? Harry thinks the nearest 10 is 50. Well, are they both right so far?
Yeah.
Nice. So now we need to do the nearest 100. What 2 hundreds is 48 in between?
I got it.
What 2 hundreds is 48 in between? Marley?
100 and 200.
Where is it going to go between 100 and 200?
100 and 0.
Hmm.
I got it.
do. This is a tricky one.
200 and 300.
It's a tricky one because it's only a 2-digit number. But when you think you got it?
It's 0 and 100.
0 and 100. That one was tricky. So Maya, how many numbers are on this number line, 0 to 100?
You got these 100.
There it is, that's Maya. There's 100 numbers. What's the middle of 100? If I split 100 in half, what is that gonna be? Connor?
But if you split it 50 in half, it would be 25 and 25.
It might be helpful for paying attention because that wasn't my question. What's the middle of 100?
Oh, 50.
50. So my midway point is just going to be 50. Now that we know where 50 is, does that make 48 easier to find?
Yeah.
Where are you going to put 48 on this number line?
Yes.
Where are you going to put 48 on this number line?
Close to 0.
Closer to 0.
Jordan, what do you think?
Kind of close to 50, but not too close.
Yeah, I would say pretty close to 50
But
because I got 48 numbers on this side. I only have one more number until I get to 50. So it's going to be really close to 50.
Actually, 2 more numbers.
49. And then I'm there at 50.
No.
49.
49.
48 is the number we're at. We've got one number in between.
49, 50. You go 49 and 50.
All right. Now that we know where 48 is, which endpoint is it closest to? I love that I see some people looking at that number line, trying to figure out which endpoint is it closest to.
Oh
What do
my
you think?
God.
What endpoint 48 is closer to? 0.
Yeah, it's going to be closer to 0.
We all know 50 is closer to.
So who was right? Because we had two friends trying to figure this out. Jordan, who was right?
Sally.
Sally was correct. Because if I look at this sentence, it says Sally thinks that the nearest 10 is 50. We figured that out. And the nearest 100 is 0. We figured that out. I agree with Sally. Hold on, marker. Because you finished that sentence. Why did you agree with Sally? You finished the rest of that sentence in your notebook. We're going to do one more like this. Jennifer's family went on vacation and drove 183 miles. 183 miles on Saturday.
They break on the speed limit.
And not at one time.
Oh.
Like that's how far they drove, not how fast they
I
drove.
was going to say, like, are they driving a race car?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. They went on vacation and drove 183 miles on Saturday. And then they drove 132 miles on Sunday. Cole, you alright?
Mm-hmm.
Her mom estimated how many miles they drove to the nearest 10 before adding the total. Her dad estimated how many miles they drove to the nearest 100 before adding the total. Which method provided a closer estimate? I want you to turn to the next blank page. I want you to turn to the next blank page.
The nearest 10.
I want you to write this question.
This whole question?
Just what I underlined. It says, which method provided a closer estimate?
Do we have to write every single
So
minute?
I'm going to say this for the third time. You are only writing the question that I have underlined in red, which which says, which method provided a closer estimate? When we're thinking about this idea of a closer estimate, we're thinking which estimate is closer to the real number. That's the whole point. When we're estimating, we still want to be close to the real number. We still want to be close. If I'm going to the grocery store and I spend $7, $7 rounds to 0 if I'm rounding to the nearest 100. But did I really spend close to $0? No. That's not really close enough, is it? So let's think about what's going on in this problem. Her mom is estimating to the nearest 10. Her dad is estimating to the nearest 100. Which one of those strategies would give you a closer number to the real number? Bowen, what do you think?
Rounding to the nearest 10.
Why do you think that?
Because it's closer.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Because it would be 100, but it's actually going to be 30. 30 closer.
Think through it. I agree with you. I just want to know why you think that.
Because I think that.
Okay, so I want to add on to Bowen. Bowen thinks it's going to be closer to estimate to the nearest 10. Does anyone else want to add on to Bowen or disagree with what Bowen thinks? What do you think, Cole?
I was already younger.
That's okay. What do you think?
I think he's correct.
Who?
Owen.
Why?
Because it makes sense.
Okay. Jordan, what do you think?
I think running to the nearest 10 is right because 130 is close to 132 and 180 is close to 182.
So when we're thinking about rounding, let's write these down. 180. Jordan already told us, hey, 180, what is it, 3? Jordan told us when I round that to the nearest nearest 10, sorry. I'm writing your writing art. Jordan told us, hey, that's 180. That means 183 and 180, hey, that's really close. That's a really close estimate. Right? If someone said, hey, you're going to have to work about 183 hours, and I end up working 183, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. What is 183, though, to the nearest 100?
20.
What's the nearest 100 to 183? Jackson? 200. Oh. Well, hey, that's a lot different. Right? The difference between 183 and 180 is only 3. But the difference here is like 20. 17. That's a lot farther away. Right? Well, it's not what you were saying? A lot closer?
Yes.
Yeah. When I round to the nearest 10, I am more likely to get closer to my exact answer. Addison?
Answer. Answer.
No.
I said everybody asked about Brian.
But I don't want to.
They don't have questions.
My hands are 90.
I don't need any.
When I round to the nearest 10, I'm writing. That means you are writing. I will get closer to the real